What is going on here? All right, I think we are live. Sorry about that. I'm a noob to this, so I'm gonna kind of grind my way through this. But I wanted to try this live streaming thing out, guys. Welcome to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Colorado Rockies. My name is Aaron. I guess this is what is known as a face reveal. Those of you who have watched my videos have heard my voice. This is me. And yeah, I thought this might be fun on a Friday night to kind of run through and give a live stream a go here. So my goal for tonight is to go through the rest of the regular season and try to handle the off season. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I don't know how long I will do this. We'll see. But I'm going to give it a whirl here. So it is August 1st, which is where I left you guys previously. We had just passed the trade deadline. It's been about a week, really. So it's been really about a week since I've posted anything. So we can just do a quick recap of what transpired, I guess, right at the end of the trade deadline. Yeah, Chris, that's fine. Your internet went out, no problem at all. So Chris wants me to stall. I'm going to stall. So yeah, we are August 1st. We are 44-55. We played some pretty good baseball in July. All things considered, I guess we'll take a look at that stuff first. Yeah, 15-9 in July was by far the best month we've had as we've run this team. So you can see it's April was bad, May was okay, June was terrible, and July was all right. So it's been a decent season, all things considered. Pitching has been, I would say, better than expected. Offense hasn't been as good as I would have anticipated. So we still have some work to do there. And you'll have to forgive this cough that I have. I have been sick for about a week, and I can't shake this cough, so I apologize for that in advance. But yeah, the goal for tonight is to get through the regular season and get through the off season. Yeah, Chris, so am I. I hope this goes well. I hope this is. I've done live interviews and I've done live streams talking about, sports and, and things like that. But I've never done an actual stream like this of a game. So if it sounds choppy and cluttered, that's because I'm new to it. But hopefully as the evening goes on, I'll kind of pick up on things and, I'll do my best not to ignore chat and whatnot. So, yeah, let's take a look at what we did leading right up to the trade deadline. So, a few deals. We traded our big offensive acquisition was Jeff McNeil. We picked him up from the Mets for Willie MacGyver and Josh Fuentes. So a couple of minor leaguers. Fuentes was was likely not to see any more time in the bigs with us. We didn't really have a spot for him. So picking up McNeil, who is 30, but swings a really solid bat. Hit the ball really well for the Mets this year, 328, 541 slugging, 2.5 WAR. And he's ARB eligible. I think that ARB number was like 10 million or something. But I will try, Chris. Thank you. I will certainly try to have fun. But he's good contact, decent power, so slide him into the lineup and hopefully lengthen things a little bit. We traded Raimel Tapia to the Yankees. Just wanted to get him off the roster. We picked up so many outfielders in July that it was time to move on from him. Also wasn't having a very good year. He was good last year, but this year he had really struggled. We picked up Matt Crook, who is just a 2-star reliever, but he's an extreme ground ball pitcher with good movement and 3 good pitches. So, lightning in a bottle kind of thing, I was hoping. Brendan Doyle, we traded to the Cubs, getting Alfonso Rivas. Rivas is kind of your high contact, high batting eye, discipline type of player. And we immediately put him in the starting lineup, batting him second in left field. 381 on base percentage in his first 7 games for us. So far, so good. We traded Freeland and Crawford to the Diamondbacks, picking up 2 outfielders, Fletcher and Fairchild, as well as Luis Frias and Matt Peacock. So we got 4 players back for Brendan Crawford, who we weren't going to re-sign after this year, and Kyle Freeland, who we were probably going to non-tender. So sorry about that. My phone goes off all the time. And then the last trade we made was sending Cory Kluber to the Twins, getting Gabriel Maciel, Gilberto Celestino, Aramis Ataman, Spencer Steer, and Williams Astudillo. And I know I mispronounced that. Somebody in the comments of my last video spelled it phonetically for me, but I don't remember how he spelled it, so I'm going to continue to mispronounce it here, unfortunately, for the rest of the evening. So we made quite a few changes to the roster leading up to the trade deadline. And really at this point, we have nothing to do other than sim ahead. So let's do that. And as people come in, if there's anything you want to take a look at as we lose 5, 4, and 11, if there's anything you want to take a look at, any teams you want to check out, another loss, any players, any teams, anything like that, obviously, we can stop and we can do that. I have no problem with that. Can we avoid the sweep? We do. We win 8-0. And Wendelken is out for 5 days with a strained forearm. That's fine. Excuse me. Let's look at that box score. So Peter Lambert pitched, and he went 8 2/3. Wow, good game. 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Gallo and Rogers each homered. Jamison Hanna continues to hit. He's at 388. Hanna we called up sometime at the beginning of June or sometime at the beginning of July, and all he's done has been hit. 388, 431, 532. So he's been phenomenal. Let's keep going. Into San Diego as we lose. So rough start, lost 3 out of 4. Yeah, that's fine, Chris. I appreciate you hanging around, but I talk for a living, so if I have to fill 3 hours talking to myself, I can do that without much trouble. Another loss to the Padres and a win. So we are 2-4 so far this month. Brendan Rodgers is now down with a sprained wrist. Got this huge thing of water here. Excuse me. All right, let's look at this box score. And I would just say I think it's still just me and Chris here, but if you've enjoyed my Rockies playthrough here, or if you're a fan of the GM game stuff at all, obviously I would tell you to follow here, subscribe here, but also go over to their YouTube channel, drop them a subscribe over there. There's all sorts of stuff. There's basketball, there's pro basketball, there's college basketball, there's baseball, there's also all sorts of sports sims. So if you're sports sim nut like me, that is absolutely the right channel for you. You can also go over to my YouTube channel, which is Around the World Sports, and drop me a subscribe over there. I am fledgling, as they would say, but it's something I'm having some fun with. So at any rate, 9-2 victory. So Rivas hits his first home run with us. Colton Welker goes 4 for 5, which is nice. He just got suspended for 80 games for having some sort of steroid in his system. So bad Colton Welker. Let's see. Peraza 2 for 4. Astudillo 2 hits, 2 runs knocked in. And Michael King goes 6 shutout innings to improve to 6-10 his ERA. He's down to 3.37. So he's been really nice for us so far this year. All right, let's continue. End of the 4-game series against San Diego. Can we split? get shut out. All right, so now we head to Pennsylvania to take on the Pirates and the Phillies. Lambert's going to be out. Ooh, that's a rough one. 15-1. Lambert is got forearm stiffness. He's out for 4 days. A lot of day-to-day injuries right now. Peraza, Rogers, Hamilton, and Lambert. Not good so far. Not a good start to the month after the way we finished July. It's a bit disappointing. Brendan Rodgers suffered a setback. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Yep, that is my my channel right there. I think right now I've only got 2 playthroughs. I've got a Detroit Tigers playthrough. I think I'm in my towards the end of my 3rd season in that one, and then I also have a franchise hockey manager playthrough going, which is the same people who do Out of the Park Baseball. It's Out of the Park Developments. I have a playthrough going through with the Bruins, and I actually just finished that video before I went live here, so I'll be posting that. The newest video for that series will be posted probably tomorrow. I'm probably going to take it easy when I'm done with this, so I'll probably post that tomorrow. And then my next Tigers one, I don't know, probably Sunday or Monday. Depends on what the rest of my weekend looks like. No, that's not a good loss. Random task. That's not a good one at all. An 8-run 5th inning there, especially to the Pirates, who are 50 and 59. So they're up 17 hits, committed 3 errors. That was just bad. Lambert pitched to 1 hitter before he got pulled. Yeah, that was just nothing good about that one at all. All right, let's move on and forget about it. And then we lose 14-6. There we go. We finally win 8-7-12, but we suffer another injury as Ali Sanchez is day-to-day with a sore ankle. So those day-to-day injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. Not that it really matters, right? I mean, we're not going to win anything this year. So the goal is to make it through this season without anything catastrophic happening, and then going to the offseason and trying to improve there. So game 2 against the Phillies, or game 1 against the Phillies, we lose. This has not been a good month. That's what, 3-8 so far this month? 3-9. And 3-10. So Brendan Rodgers suffers another setback. Make sure I have my... Yeah, we're 3-10 this month. Stats real quick. Gallo's got his average up to 231. So that is... I'm happy with that. That trade or that signing. We traded for him last season and then signed him to a 4-year, $100 million contract. It's a lot of money, but it's short term, and we have a ton of extra money on the books. You can see $62 million next year to spend. So we've got, the number 1 pick. I thought with the way July went that we would be free from that. But we are absolutely slipping back down the rankings again. So we got 47 wins. So right now, we're 5th? We have the 5th pick. Yeah, I thought after last season, I thought with the way July went that we would be free from that and we would be top 10 or maybe top 15, but not looking so good so far. Which ultimately is fine again, I guess. We weren't expecting to win anything this year, so we may as well gun for that top pick again. Go to Texas, and we lose again. Another game against the Rangers. Finally, a victory. Let's take a look at the box score, and then let's take a look at the roster real quick and see if there are any changes we want to make. Anybody who's not hitting, or I guess technically nobody's hitting and nobody's pitching, which is why we're 4-12 this month or whatever. But Mckinstry had 2 RBIs, 2 hits for Buster Posey, and Michael King picks up the win. So he's up to 7-10 now. Let's look at our stats. And I always sort by WAR. It's just force of habit. Jeff McNeilson's coming over, 311, 392, 356. So he's not hitting for any power, but hitting for a decent average. Joey Gallo, 226, 27 home runs. Jamison Hanna continues to hit the ball. .373. He's got 18 doubles in 46 games, so he's been, excuse me, he's been a nice find. Ali Sanchez done a good job. Zach McKinstry's been okay, based on what we got him for, which was to be a utility, jack of all trades kind of guy, and he's doing that. Brendan Rodgers has had a down season compared to last year. Look at his numbers last year. He had 26 home runs. He's on pace for 14 this year. So he's had a difficult season. Fletcher has come on, hit for a little bit of power. He's got a 500 slugging percentage. Williams, Astudillo, 11 for 33. He's hitting the ball pretty well, so that's a nice pickup. But he's 30, so I mean he's not he's not going to be on the next great Rockies team. And then Rivas. The average is really light, but still posting almost a 400 or 370 on base percentage. So he's been okay. Pitching. Michael King has been good. I mean, he's been really, really good for us. 23 starts. He's only 7-10, but a 3.55 ERA. When you're making half your starts at Coors, can't really argue with those results. Patrick Murphy has pitched really well, and I don't really know what to make of it. He's not very good. I mean, his ratings aren't very good, but he's pitching quite well. So, you just keep riding that horse until the wheels fall off. Or I guess I'm mixing metaphors there, but you know what I'm saying. Radiel Martinez was a nice sign for us. He's having a really good rookie season. And then from there, it's just been various levels of garbage. So let's move forward. So ultimately, I really want to get to the postseason, right? That's what's the most fun about this game, is improving the team. And right now, we're just really bad. So we lose to the Giants. So we'll just sim ahead through the end of the month, get to roster expansion, see if there's anybody we want to call up, and finish off season at number 2. So Josh Duplantier is eligible to come off the DL. We're going to put him on a rehab assignment. We'll get Naylor back in 3 weeks. That'll be good. Yeah, he hasn't come along as well as I would have liked either, but maybe that's, maybe it's time to look to move on from the hitting coach. We got Josh Bell as our hitting coach. I mean, in theory, he should be, he's got excellent relationships with basically our entire hitting roster, but they're not getting it done. If they're not getting it done, you got to find someone who does. Would I focus more on my staff or on my offense? I think it depends on the team. I think in Colorado, I think you have to pay more attention to your pitching staff, because offensively, for the most part, you're going to be fine. You'll be able to find hitters who can get the job done in Colorado. It's whether or not you can limit the runs. If I'm choosing between a surefire can't miss center fielder and a surefire can't miss top of the line starter, I generally lean towards the starting pitcher. I have a thing for starting pitchers who just have stud ratings, so I tend to gravitate that way. I think I will do that especially in this playthrough, just because I need that for Colorado. You can get by in Colorado if you have an average offense, but if your pitching staff is as bad as ours has been, so we lose Brendan Rodgers for 6 weeks, then you just have no chance. It doesn't matter how good your offense is if your defense is just that bad. So, long-winded answer for you there, but so we're going to call up Ottoman, and I guess we're just going to stick Mckinstry in at second base. But I'm not going to bat him third against lefty. Look at this lineup is so bad. And I was looking at the upcoming free agents, and there's just nothing here, man, that really piques my interest. I'm hoping things change as we get there. I'm hoping maybe that there's an international signing or somebody like that, but there's just nothing here. A couple of decent bats, but excuse me, nothing that would really, especially with what they're asking for. Like, I wouldn't mind Javi Baez, good defense, good power, but he's going to want $20 million. And while we have the money, I'm not prepared to give that kind of money to somebody who's average. Now, Jose Abreu is an interesting candidate. He's probably going to want somewhere around this 18 to $20 million, but he was the 2020 MVP. Had 34 home runs last year and is having a better year this year, so that's interesting. So I don't know how much we're really going to be able to improve in the offseason. Not much pitching either, which is a little disappointing. But the way we do things, we'll look for those ground ball style pitchers and see if we can just cater to what we have and see if we can make it work. Yeah, you can find ground ball pitchers, Chris. It all shows up here. So under their pitching ratings, it shows their ground ball, fly ball tendency. So you have pitchers that are anywhere from extreme ground ball. It's extreme ground ball, neutral, fly ball, or extreme fly ball. And I have a tendency to really love hard throwing sinker ballers. So, Jacob Degrom type pitchers who can throw the ball really hard and who can keep the ball down. And that's really what I look for. And I look for that with all of my playthroughs. It's not just here with the Rockies, but if you can find a top of the line starter who's an extreme ground ball pitcher, who throws 98 to 100, like that's you struck gold with that. So that's what I tend to look for. But we'll see. We'll see. This obviously my first 2 years here with Colorado have been pretty terrible. With the way with the way July went, I was optimistic coming into these last 2 months. Yeah, you can. Right, Random Task, you can. You can pull up, and it's one of the things I love about Out of the Park Baseball is, they've been doing this now for 22 years. You can pull up, you can list all players, and you've got any number of filters that you want to look at. So you can look at which one is it? I think you can do it. What's the easiest way to do it? Customize. You look at their pitching ratings and you can find, is it their pitching ratings? Yes. You go to type and then you have all of your type pitchers here. You got power pitchers, you got ground ball pitchers, and then within the ground ball pitchers, you've got extreme ground ball and that sort of thing. So that tends to be what I look at. And then a lot of normal. So yeah, it's, you can find pretty much anything you want. Sometimes your owner will give you a ridiculous solo shot. Yeah, if you can find someone who's got good power, really good control, and maybe low movement, like you can get away with that because you're right. If they're not walking a lot of batters, then solo home runs aren't going to kill you in cores. It's like I was looking at Cory. We had Cory Kluber on the team for half the season, and he gave up 142 hits in 102 innings. And it's not the 14 home runs that kill you. It's when you give up 142 hits and give up 14 home runs. So if you can find a high power, high control, lowish movement, like we have one in our system, our top prospect, Jack Leiter, has got decent stuff. Actually, his movement's better than I thought it was. But in other playthroughs where I've picked up Jack Leiter, usually his stuff and his control are good and his movement is lower. And you can get away with that, so you need to be smart about it. It's tough. Like he would have a tough time though as a fly ball pitcher if his movement were low, because now you're talking 40, 45 home runs a year, and even 45 solo home runs a year is a lot. So but I tend to really look for those power ground ball type pitchers, especially in the bullpen. Your sinker slider types, which is why I picked up Claudio last year. His ratings. He's only a 2-star. He has 4, 2 average pitches, 2 below average pitches. His stuff is terrible, but he's got great movement, great control, and he's an extreme ground ball pitcher. This is the kind of person who in cores, you could get really lucky with a pitcher like him. He could just have a great season for next to nothing. And he gets overutilized because he's not very good against righties. And the 3-batter rule has kind of jacked with him a little bit. But if you can try to use him primarily as against lefties, this is a great pitcher to have. So we've just beaten the Dodgers 2 games in a row. Can we sweep them? No, we can't. All right, so let's finish up August. A couple of players retiring. That's fine. 2 more in Pittsburgh. 3-2. All right, so not a terrible end to the month. We went 4-2 in our last 6, so not a terrible end to the month. Overall, it was not a good month. 9-19, our worst month of the year. Yeah, our worst month of the year. 53-74, which is still an improvement because last season we only won 54 games overall. So we have to go 1-33 in the next month to have a better season than we had last year. So we can call up 2 players. Is there anybody that deserves to be called up? I think I'm going to call up Riley Adams just because I want to get him playing time in place of Buster Posey. There's no reason to be starting Posey at this point. And Celestino, I think. I don't really need another outfielder. You just sit on the bench. We'll call up Devin Mann. I mean, none of this is going to matter once we get Naylor back. We're going to just put Naylor right back in. But all right, so lineups. We want to get Riley Adams in there as the backup. Excuse me. Riley Adams. He doesn't really have a... what did I do? He doesn't really have a noticeable split. His ratings are pretty good against both lefties and righties, so that's good. So we'll back him up with Sanchez. Yeah, I use 1-100 random task. I always have. I think it's just I like to see when you use 1-100, you get your when you get your development updates, you get a really wide range of results because someone's changing. You're personally offended to use 20-80. Most people use 20-80. I don't know. I like seeing the variance in ratings. I've also used 1-20. I've never really gotten into the 20-80. If I personally offended you though, I apologize. But yeah, I've always used 1-100. That's just the way I've always done it. I've been playing out of the park baseball since I think out of the park 7 was the first one I got. Was the first one I ever had. I used to play Baseball Mogul. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I played Baseball Mogul for a while, and then I switched out of the park because it was so much more in depth. But yeah, I use 1-100. I wouldn't. There's a science 20-80. I don't. Yeah, there is. I mean, I understand how the 20-80 rankings work. For me, there's something about when you're using increments of 5, there are only so many different, ratings. So many different the way that their stats are lined up. There are only so many different positions on that chart that they can be at, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, etc. 1-100, I think it just gives there's more variability, I guess, if that's a word. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, I understand. I know most people use 20-80. I just never have. Yeah, I don't know. Just never have. Used to play baseball. Yeah, I played it. I used to love Baseball Mogul, but the game got to be the difference between Out of the Park and Baseball Mogul to me is that Baseball Mogul was so easy to master. It was so easy to manipulate the AI and just master the game that, within 3 or 4 seasons, you're winning 130, 140 games a year. And to me, that was never fun. I mean, I remember I had a playthrough going with the 1967 Red Sox. The fact that there are positions is why I enjoy it in real life. That's how. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you're certainly right. I understand. I'm in the complete minority here. But yeah, baseball. I had a playthrough going with the 1967 Red Sox, and I used to play every single game. So I played every game. So I made it through 6 or 7 seasons playing every game, and I ended up winning 140 games or something like that one season. So I had to basically create some sort of profit sharing system. A profit sharing system where, because teams would just lose like 40, $50 million a year. So I had to come up with some way to avoid that. And I didn't want to play a game that forced me to alter the way the game works in order to keep it competitive. And with Out of the Park Baseball, you can still game the AI if you really want to. But it's a lot harder. So I made the switch and I haven't looked back. The doctor uses 1 through 100. You like to see the change as well as my computer. Sorry, I've got 2 computers set up here. Again, I have a very noob setup here, so bear with me just a second while I pull that back up. You like to see results when the updates come out. Yeah, that's my reasoning behind it. I like, when you go 1 to 100, when you see those player updates, there's going to be a whole lot more of them listed here than there will be if there's 20 to 80. And I know that 20 to 80 is the way it's done in real life, and I know that's realistic, and I know that's what most of the people do, but whatever. I'm too old to change my ways at this point. I'm in my mid 40s. I'm set how I'm set. So AL Batter of the Month, Julio Rodriguez. NL Batter of the Month, JT Realmuto. Justin Bieber. Shane Bieber wins the AL Pitcher of the Month, Kershaw. NL. AL Rookie of the Month, Josh Lowe. And NL Rookie of the Month, Francisco Morales. The most offensive ratings you've ever seen is 1 through 100. You mean the way I do it? The way I do it is what offends you. So I'm terribly sorry if you now hate me, but yeah, I use stars for overall ratings, and I use stars for potential, and 1 through 100 for their batting and pitching ratings. It's just the way I've always done it. Oh, you mean like overall 1 through 100 and then potential stars? Like, that would confuse the hell out of me. Yeah, I this is how I have always, from day one, literally, this is how I've always done it. 1 through 100 and then stars. It's just the way it is. That's crazy. Like on the summary, it was 100 for overall. Oof. Yeah, I couldn't do. Anything else here we want to take a look at? No, we've called up our players. Let's get through the end of the year, guys. Let's finish off this year and take a look at our improvement. But stars were, that's like, that would confuse me if you had your 1 through 100 for overall and then stars for 50 out of 5 stars. Like I wouldn't even know if that was good. Like, I wouldn't know how to rate people. I do 20 to 80 instead of stars. I wish they would do 1 to 100 for overall and potential as well. I think you can, can't you? I think you can set the, where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Oh, no, you can't. You can only set them 20 to 80. Okay. Yeah, I think I've never looked at it because I've always just set it as stars. But yeah, if I could do it as 1 to 100, I probably would do that as well. So it's interesting that you can set your rating scale that way, but not the overall and potential. All right, let's get through September. Oh, that's a tough one. We lose Jamison Hanna for 3 weeks. So now we can call up Celestino. That wasn't the intention, but let's just stick him in the lineup in like that. And we win. So we won 4-1. So we're 5-2 in our last 7. It's not terrible. Murphy picks up the win. He's 6-3. Another game against Arizona. Another win, 4-3. Can we sweep the Diamondbacks on the road? No, 6-5 loss in 13. On to the Angels. It's another 6-5 loss. Yeah, I don't know how many have you guys. I mean, I'm assuming if you're here, you've played Out of the Park 22. I'll say that the changes that they've made specifically to the trading AI has been. I personally love it. Even on the extremely hard rating in previous seasons, there were ways you could manipulate the trade AI, and you'd have to put limitations on yourself. But just so you guys can see where I have mine set, I have trading difficulty set all the way up, and then I have veterans and prospects in the middle. And I'm finding that I'm getting you only play online. Oh, that's interesting. Do you play like online leagues with people, like the GM Games channel does with Draft Day Sports college basketball? Is that how you do it? This is how I have my trading set up. I found that I get realistic trades this way, but still very, very difficult. Like you can't pry away top prospects from people, but it's not, you're not always picking up, 1 star and 2 star. Hey, Breeze, what's up? I used to do online leagues back in the day with Baseball Mogul, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The Baseball Mogul people used to have an online league set up within their website. I don't know if you ever played that, but they had an online league set up within their website. So you just would you would join a league, and the game would update, every hour and a half or whatever, and you could make your roster changes, and you could make your lineup changes and whatever. But I loved it. I loved it, and I guess they didn't have the manpower to manage it. I remember sitting at work and doing that. I used to run back in the day. I was a car audio manager for Circuit City back when they were still around, and I used to just sit in the road shop all day and play Baseball Mogul online just all day. But yeah, like I said, once they stopped controlling that, I kind of lost interest in it a little bit. What's going on, Breeze? Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Let's keep going. 3 games set against Miami. 7-3 win. You didn't get to online leagues until about 2 years ago. Yeah, I like the online leagues. What's your take on the perfect team stuff? Do you like the perfect team stuff that Out of the Park Baseball does? I did it the first year, and it was fun, but unless you sit all over it, yeah, today's my very first stream, man. Unless you sit all over the perfect team stuff, you fall behind too easily, and I just lost interest. I hope that they continue to put the majority of their effort into the gameplay and not the perfect team stuff. I know perfect team makes them a lot of money, but I'm hoping that it doesn't become the primary focus. At any rate, Josh Naylor's set to come off the DL, so we are going to send Devin Mann back down, bring Naylor back up. You don't play perfect team. Yeah, me either. I'm not a fan of the microtransaction-y stuff. Yeah, no, neither am I. And that's kind of why I lost interest in it, was because of that sort of thing. I want to be able to build a team and play against people, but I don't want to have to micromanage it. I want to be able to set my lineups, set my rosters, and just go. I had somebody on somebody asked me, actually on somebody else's channel in a comment, somebody asked me if I wanted to start an online Out of the Park baseball league with like people that watch my stuff, which by the way, if you haven't already, you can head over to my YouTube channel at Around the World Sports and drop me a subscribe over there. I've got Out of the Park Baseball. I've got Franchise Hockey Manager. And I'm thinking about adding some other stuff to it at some point. Some stuff that's not sports related. I play, I'm an old guy, so I don't do a lot of FPS type stuff, but I love turn-based, things like Civilization and stuff like that. So I play a lot of that as well. So I'm thinking about kind of incorporating all of that stuff into the channel at some point, but I don't want Excuse me. I don't want to overdo it and have like 6 streams going at once. So anyway, all right. So Josh Naylor's back. So where do we want to play Josh Naylor? McNeil can play first, second, third. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put McNeil at second. We're gonna bring Naylor back in at first. Naylor in at first, McNeil in at second. And again, guys, I'm sorry about this cough. I took the week off because do I play SimCity? I don't. I don't play. I played the original SimCity. Again, I'm dating myself. I played the original SimCity on the PlayStation back in whatever that was, 1997, 1998. But I haven't really played it since. When you grow up with Nintendo, you are more used to the Final Fantasy, Romance of Three Kingdoms, Contra. I'm really bad at all of these. Out of the Park 5. Wow, you go way back, Chris. Those left to right platform type games, I played a ton when I was a kid, Castlevania and things like that. But the real first person shooters, Fortnite and Call of Duty and all those games, I'm so bad at them. I like to play them solo. Like I love Fallout 4 and Skyrim and, those types of games where they're kind of first player, but, PvP, man, like I just am not into it, and this goes back years and years and years. I've played a ton of MMORPGs. Like I played EverQuest. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but I played EverQuest for like 15 years. And I never played on a PvP server because I hate PvP. I don't have the patience or the energy for grief or griefers or anything like that. So let's take a look at this. It does say web.archive random, so yeah, it's not a surprise that it looks like it's ancient there. Holy crap. That's fantastic. Doom? Yeah, Doom. Man, I owned a shareware. I don't know how many of you remember shareware. Yeah, EverQuest was the jam in 99. I played it from 99 until about 2005, 2006. I still have an account. I don't use it, but yeah, I played EverQuest, and then I had a shareware version of both Doom and Duke Nukem. And I don't know if you remember shareware, but you could go to like, God, I'm dating myself. You could go to like Electronics Boutique, which was a video game store, and you could buy shareware versions of these games, and the shareware versions would give you like the first 3 levels, and they were like $4. So 16-year-old me could afford the $4 shareware version of Duke Nukem. So I'd play the first 4 levels of the original Duke Nukem on my old Hewlett Packard. So yeah, I am dating myself here. Look at that, guys. We've won 4 in a row. Let's go. 5 in a row. And we lose 8-5. 9-3 loss. So we win 5 in a row, then lose 4 in a row. Buster Posey out for 5 weeks. That's fine. We've got like 12 catchers on our roster. Let's call Man back up. Ooh, 10-0. That's a rough one. Riley Adams. We need to get him some playing time. Excuse me. So 5 wins in a row followed by 5 losses in a row. Rockies baseball. Get some. John Duplantier, his rehab assignment is up. I got to call him up. Who do we want to send down? What's up, Beardtown? How you doing, man? Thanks for jumping into the inaugural live stream for... my name's Aaron. My channel's Around the World Sports. I'm running my Colorado Rockies playthrough, though, here tonight on GM Games. We're going to sim through the rest of the regular season and run through the postseason. I'm doing okay. I started telling a story and then got sidetracked. It's my brain. But I took the entire week off this week because I got my second COVID shot No, this is year two. We are midway through, or almost done with year two. Last year was an absolute abomination. I'll show you that real quick. 54 and 108 last season. So this is year two. So I took the whole week off because I got my second COVID shot on Tuesday. So I thought, Wednesday I'd be down, Thursday I might be down, but I'd be good to go by Friday or whatever. So last Saturday morning, so the first day of my vacation, I woke up with a head cold. And that head cold has led to this cough that hasn't gone away. So I was sick for 3 days. Started feeling better on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, went and got my COVID shot, and now I've been sick all week again. So this has been my vacation. I've been sick for 7 days. You're in your early 40s, played all these games. Really, you only found Out of the Park Baseball last December. Yeah, it's for me, Out of the Park Baseball the release date of Out of the Park Baseball should be a holiday. I make it a point I work from home, and this is both my recording studio and my office. So I make it a point to take release day off so that I can just sit and play all day. But yeah, I've played, like I said, I've been playing Out of the Park Baseball since I want to say Out of the Park 7 was my first playthrough. So sales done for the season. Arenado belts 3 home runs. That's fine. So we're 62 and 83. Still not going to end up with a very good record, but a definite improvement over... Oh, right. I needed to send somebody down. A definite improvement over last year. Who's going to get sent down? Senzatella, because he's the only negative WAR pitcher on our team. So let's call back up. And I did see that Joey Gallo's up to 36 home runs, guys. Look at that. 38 home runs, 85 runs knocked in. He's given us what we need him to give us. Another game against the Marlins. So yeah, that's where this cough is coming from. It was Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. Is Pro Football from Draft Sports a good game? The Draft Day Sports guys, yeah, the Draft Day Sports guys everything they do is awesome. I have loaded on my computer right now. I've got college basketball, pro basketball, and football, each from the last 3 seasons. So if you're looking for a good football sim, you can't go wrong with the Draft Day Sports guys. Their football game is fantastic. I would say that they also have college football, which I also have downloaded. I would say that their basketball games are probably better than their football games, but their football games are awesome as well. I mean, you talk about in depth. The Draft Day Sports guys, it's just crazy what you can do and the level of detail that you can deal with in those games. You're welcome. Out of the Park they have their they're actually on right now. Not that I want to send people that way, but they're doing a better job. I think TJ Lauerman does a great job on their live streams. He's super engaged. He's super excited. Marcus doesn't make it anymore, but they were bought by somebody this past season. But yeah, they could probably. The problem is it's a different genre, right? Like it's still a baseball game, but it's not MLB The Show. It's not anything like that. It's a different game. As we sweep the Marlins, 5-0 win. Let's look at that box score. Who got the shutout? Peter Lambert continues to pitch well. Let's go. Joey Gallo, 2 more home runs, over 40 on the year now. Jeff McNeil, 4 hits. He's hitting .350 for us. This was an acquisition, guys. That worked out nicely. It's a different genre, right? Like, I mean, it's Beer Town, I would agree. Well, I guess I would agree with either. You're talking about Out of the Park Baseball or Wolverine, because either way, they have exploded onto the scene in the last year. Random task. The basketball games are way more in depth than football, but they're best in the market. Yeah, without question. The football games are the best in the market for a management sim. Without question. I've been waiting for the Out of the Park guys to put together a football game. And I'm a hockey nut, as evidenced by that, and I'm wearing a Bruins jersey, and hockey's my main jam, as they say. But So when they put out Franchise Hockey Manager, I was all over that. I was in line on day one to get the first Franchise Hockey Manager, and I've been in line on day one to get every single one since then. So, all right, so Celestino, he's going to go down. Hannah's going to come up. But yeah, I've been a dedicated out of the park developments guy for years and years and years, and I'm getting there with Wolverine. I basically buy every new version of every game except for golf, which they also have, which I've also seen played, and it's a very, very in-depth golf game. So if you like golf, Marcus will still make the game in his message after said he wanted to do less business stuff. That's awesome. I mean, if Marcus can focus on just the developing and let somebody else handle the business, I mean, that's phenomenal because Marcus makes an unbelievable game. So I'd be all for that. Absolutely. All right, we got to keep going here. So take on the Mets. So 2 straight losses to the Mets. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. This is my first go at this. I don't know how often I'm gonna do it. I'm a father of 4. I've got a full-time job. I've got multiple responsibilities. But if I can work this in once a week or once every other week or something like that, that's something I want to do. It's fun and I like to talk. So, all right. So we win 2-0. Who pitched in this one? Schmidt got hurt. Hamstring strain. All right. Well, 6 pitchers combined on a shutout. Gallo with another home run. Joey Gallo is just raking right now. All right, let's keep going. Season's almost over. Out of the park to go on mobile. Can't afford out of the park baseball. Breeze, go to, I think it's, again, not that I want to send you away, but Chris, aren't they giving away a copy tonight on their channel? Isn't Out of the Park Baseball giving away a copy on their website? Or on their stream this evening? Correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of losses. 3 straight losses to Arizona and then a 10-1 loss. And then we lose Michael King, who was our best pitcher, to an injury, so he's going to be down for a couple of weeks. We're going to avoid 100 losses, which is, that's good, considering where we were. We'll call up Dolis. If you follow that link, you should be able to find an entry for a free Wolverine suit. I thought you said Out of the Park Baseball was giving away a copy. I'm sorry. But either way, yeah, if you want a free game from Wolverine, go do that. I buy everything. So it's just because I don't want to wait. So it was everything I could do to wait for Out of the Park Baseball to come out. All right, we have to put somebody in the starting lineup. I think we'll stick Peacock in there. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We'll stick Peacock in there. All right, how many games do we have left? We're 65 and 89, so we've got, that's 154, so we got 10 games left. All right, let's get to October. And we've got our 1 through 100 ratings here, so random task, avert your eyes. Clark Schmidt got significantly better. That's nice to see. Josh Naylor got worse. That's not good. This is starting to get concerning. If he can't hit in Coors, where's he going to hit? But we'll figure it out. Alfonso Rivas got a little better. Drew Romo, how's he doing? Had a good season in Double-A, 11 home runs. Luis Frias, he was another one we picked up at the trade deadline. Cool. Drew Jones, he was our first-round pick this year. He's the number 1 overall pick. Not getting a ton of playing time, but he's doing okay. He'll probably start next season down there as well. AL Hitter of the Month, Jose Ramirez for the Indians. Juan Soto for the Nats. Hyung-Jong Yang is the Pitcher of the Month in the AL. NL Pitcher of the Month, Zach Gallen. AL Rookie of the Month, Bryant Packard. And in the National League, it's our very own Radiel Martinez. Wins the award for the 2nd month. He's won the Rookie of the Month. So cool. We got we got 10 games left. Yeah, let's keep going. Oh, okay. You guys gave away one for Out of the Park Baseball. Okay, well that's good. I mean, the more I'm going to put a Studlio in the DL, the more attention we can bring to these games, the better, right? I mean, that's how we grow. That's how that's how the game grows, and that's how the market grows. I love, I mean, I keep saying this, but I love out of the park baseball. I always have. So I think we're gonna keep Brendan Rodgers on the bench. As crazy as that sounds, or do we? No, I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to put McNeil at third, where he's not very good. And we're going to bench. Oh, it's a lot of lefties in a row. I don't like that. I got to right-handed up my lineup here a little bit as we move forward. Yeah, so we're going to put Rodgers at second. We're going to put McNeil at third, where he's really bad. But that's okay. All right, we only got 9 games left or something. Oh, this is a good win. 13-3. Ataman, 3 for 5 with 5 runs knocked in. Like to see that out of the rookie. Schmidt improves to 10-10. This is huge, guys. After the year he had last year, he was 1-14 last season with a 7.14, 10-10 this year. Cut his ERA by 2.5 runs. So, yeah, Drew Jones is real. Yeah, I know. It wasn't a very strong draft this past season. I don't know if you watched it or not, but it wasn't a very strong draft. Drew Jones was the only over 3-star batter in the bunch. I've drafted I drafted Elijah Green in my Tigers sim on my playthrough, and he was 5-star in that. I've seen Tamara Johnson turn into an MVP, but it wasn't a very good draft. There were no pitchers over 3 stars. So, we went with the best available, which was Drew Jones. All right, let's keep going. 2-1 loss. 6-3 loss. One of your favorite out of the park things is they put real draftees in for the next 5 years. It's such a strong level. Yeah, it really is. Within those first, you can look at the draft classes going forward. You look at the draft pool, and you can go ahead and you can look at the potential draftees, and a lot of these are real people. I don't know how many of them are real, but a lot of them are real. So, yeah, the out of the park baseball guys. I mean, especially once you have the full rights to, MLB, names and likenesses and things like that, it becomes a completely different world. So, all right, can we avoid the sweep? We can. All right, so we got 3 games left on the road at Los Angeles. We're not going to lose 100 games, which is really good. It's better than I thought. We win 12-5, lose 7-4, and our final game of the year is a 13-6 loss. We do have the home run champ in Joey Gallo. So we finish year number 2, 68-94. 14-game improvement over last season. I will take it. Was still a ton of money left to spend, and that's going to put us 68, 1, 2, 3, anywhere between 3rd and 6th, depending on where we fall in terms of tiebreakers with these two teams. So anywhere between 3rd and 6th in next year's draft. When your leagues moved from 20 to 22 and the incoming draft class had their ratings drop so bad, I'm very excited. It's the first draft I'm picking outside the top 10. I've seen that happen where the draft class in one game, you import it to another game and they've gone to hell. And I don't know why that is. I don't know enough about these games to even pretend to know why. But yeah, I've seen that happen. All right, so let's take a look quickly at our end of the year stats. Guys, if there's anything else you want me to take a look at, if there are any teams or players or anything like that you want to go over, let me know. I got nothing but time here, so let's start with our pitching staff. And it was a much improved pitching staff. I would consider it an improvement. A 4.98 starters ERA and a 4.35 bullpen ERA, considering where we were. We didn't have a single pitcher with a negative WAR, which I think is an improvement. Radiel Martinez was lights out as a closer. The Mets and Jacob Degrom. I can do that. John Duplantier, who was a waiver wire pickup, put up 1.4 WAR for us in 52 innings. Ian Hamilton, another waiver wire pickup, 1.3 WAR. Patrick Murphy, our two-star pitcher, still put up over 1 WAR. Clark Schmidt was really good compared to last season. And this is kind of what you were talking about earlier, Chris, where if you don't give up a ton of hits, you can get away with it in cores. Like you give up 32 home runs, you give up 189 hits, which isn't great, but if you can keep that at a 1-to-1 ratio and not walk a ton of batters, you can get away with it. And I think he did an okay job of getting away with it. Charlie Morton was a bust. We knew what we were getting with Morton. We signed him with the anticipation of trading him. Then he got hurt and his ratings dropped and nobody wanted him. So it is what it is. Peter Lambert struggled down the stretch. Let's look at hitting. And then we'll take a look at the Mets. So Jeff McNeil came over and just raked. Look at those numbers. 362, 407, 569, almost 1.5 WAR in 59 games. He was really, really good for us. Joey Gallo's first season in Colorado, I would say, is a success. 47 home runs, 101 knocked in. Struck out less than 200 times, which was unexpected. 4.4 WAR. Very, very good defensively as well. Jameson Hanna came up midway through the season and was lights out for us at the top of the lineup. Basically means we don't have to hunt down a center fielder now, but he was terrific. 400 on base percentage. Ali Sanchez hit much better than I expected and played great defense, as Ali Sanchez always does. 2.5 WAR. Rogers had a down season. We may look to move on from him this offseason. We'll see. Zach McKinstry played a lot at a lot of different positions. Played second, third, short, left, and right. Didn't play any of them particularly well except for shortstop, but there's room for growth. He's still relatively young. Ataman came up midway through the season, played pretty well as well. Fletcher provided some pop, and then below that, it just wasn't great. Rivas, 375 on base percentage. That's not bad. Walked more than he struck out. It's not going to provide a ton of power, but Colton Welker had a bad season. Josh Naylor had a bad season. So these are two guys that I am concerned about. So we'll have to see what we can do in the offseason. All right, the Mets. The Mets finished 70-92. That's not good. Jacob Degrom, 10-14 with a 3.43 ERA. Looks like his ratings have dropped a little bit. Looks like he was hurt last year. Only made 24 starts a year ago. Did lead the league in innings pitched and whip this year, so still a pretty good pitcher. Making an absolute buttload of money, $33.5 million. Brandon Nimmo, 22 home runs. Not a very good offense. That's really bad. They hit 229 as a team. That's terrible. Dominic Smith hit 235. Where is, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? The guy who hit 53 home runs for the Mets 2 years ago. Set the rookie record for home runs. Where did he must have gotten traded. Now it's going to kill me. Why can't I think of his name? Let's go here. Let's look at the Mets history because it's going to bother me. Let's look at the Mets history. Yeah, Pete Alonso. Thank you. Pete Alonso plays for the Indians now. Okay, he was traded to the Indians last season. What was that trade? For Eddie Rosario and Nolan Jones. That's a pretty bad trade. Okay. Anyway. All right. So Pete Alonso. It's Cleveland Indian. Yeah, that offense, man, that's rough. I mean, their pitching staff wasn't terrible. Cookie Carrasco had a pretty good season. Taijuan Walker had an okay season. Syndergaard was hurt. Missed most of the season. Danny Salazar is always hurt. Decent enough bullpen, but they just couldn't hit. Yeah, that's just like real life, right? It's just like this year. Random task. I don't know if you saw. He was traded for. I didn't look over, so he was traded for Nolan Jones and Eddie Rosario. So yeah. Where Lindor signed with, I want to say Cincinnati after 1 year, or San Francisco after 1 year with the Mets. So last season, 2021, he had 302, 368, 514, put up 7.5 WAR, and then signed with the San Francisco Giants. What is that? It's 8-year contract. 8-year, $335 million contract. What did he get in real life? He got something close to that, didn't he? Wasn't it right around 8 and 350 or something? But yeah, look at these numbers. In 2029, when he is, what year are we in? We're in 2022, so 7 years from now. When he's 35 years old, he's going to be making $46.5 million. That is a crazy, crazy contract. Excuse me. So the Mets have lost Alonso. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he got 10. Maybe he got 12. I want to say maybe he got more than 10. But yeah, so Alonso and Lindor both gone from the Mets, and their offense is terrible. So yeah, so let's take a look at the postseason. Let's see who made the postseason. So the wild card games: Red Sox, White Sox. In the National League, the Padres and the Diamondbacks. And I guess we'll do it this way. Playoff tree. So the Blue Jays, Rangers, and Indians, Braves, Reds, Dodgers. So let's go ahead and sim through the postseason and see what we see. Yeah, it was a crazy contract either way. I don't remember exactly what it was, but had some players retire. That's fine. And they're not going to let me put them on the roster because I have 28 men, so we'll just keep going. All right, so the White Sox beat the Red Sox in the AL wildcard game over in the National League. The Diamondbacks beat the Padres. So the Indians and the White Sox. I don't need to know if somebody is injured when we're not playing, but thank you. So yeah, we're gonna go through the postseason here. We'll you guys will kind of see how my mind works, I guess. And if you have any suggestions for me, anybody you think I should go after, and we'll take a look at who's available and who's not, and that sort of thing. Once we get through this. All right, so the Blue Jays and the Indians advance. The Braves and the Dodgers advance. Michael King is eligible to come off the DL. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to non-tender Dolis again. Somebody wants him, they can have him. A room full of assistant GMs. Yeah, I mean, that's why we do this, though, right? Like, I mean... I could sit in my basement and play out of the park baseball and not take any input or advice from anybody, but there's something fun about this. I remember I used to both for out of the park baseball, and you're chock full of terrible opinions. Well, that's fine. Terrible opinions are better than none, I guess. So it's going to be the Braves and the Indians in the World Series. Circa 95 that the Braves and the Indians played in the World Series. I used to, back before the age of Twitch, I used to write all of my, I would type up recaps on the Out of the Park website or the Baseball Mogul website. So I would play I would play 2 weeks of Red Sox, and then I would recap what happened, box scores, things like that, and then I would do that for my entire seasons, and it was a fun way to get input and feedback from people and stuff. So stat sounds like a lot of work. Hurt your head. Well, we don't want to hurt your head. You're sort of the one running this for us, so All right, so what do we got going on? So we had an 81 score, which is bad. The league is looking to expand. Okay. Excuse me. So we'll see where they're expanding to here shortly. Buster Posey retired, which was a bit of a surprise, but Buster Posey retired. New budget, payroll of about $130 million. So that gives us about 50 to play with. Okay, that's good. He expected more than a 68-94 record out of us. He's mad we didn't sign Trevor Story, who had a bad season. So I'm glad we didn't re-sign him. Hit 220, struck out 220 times. So I'm glad we didn't re-sign him. We didn't increase attendance. We did, though. Maybe not quite as much as he wanted. He's upset with us, but since I have myself on unable to be fired, it's tough. I don't play this game to get fired. So, excuse me. Top prospects. We have the number 6 prospect in baseball, Andrew Jones. Where do we stand overall? 7th. So Jones is 9th, Leiter's 44th, Romo 53. Acevedo and Estrada were our 2 international guys the last 2 seasons. Oh, Jonah Hill. Gotcha. Okay, got it. Fan faves are good for rebuilding teams. Yeah, I like going after fan favorites and I like going after captains. I found one way to sort of, I'd say, game the system a little bit is there are a lot of relievers that are extremely popular. So if you sign an extremely popular reliever, you get that bump. But then if you trade him, for some reason, you get a smaller negative bump. So you can just recycle relievers that people like. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but that's something that can be done. So, all right, what do we have going on? So we've got choose expansion teams on the 10th. Free agencies on the 1st. Where is the expansion? Oh, I think we have to do this first. So the Jacksonville Maulers are going to be going to the AL East, and the Oklahoma City Argonauts will be going to the NL Central. All righty. Let's go ahead and expand the league. Even if they suck, they'll help your draft positions. Yeah. I always look for fan favorites and high leaders / captains. Those are the types of players I look for when I'm rebuilding, because the last thing you want is to have, a ton of infighting. I can be, we finished 68-94 and the team is happy, because we have multiple captains, multiple leaders. We don't have anybody who's disruptive or anything. So, that can help. That can help the team, long term. Is my computer shut down again? Sorry. I have a very bare bones setup here. I've got 2 laptops sitting next to each other, and one of them keeps timing out on me. So, at any rate, all right. So we got to do arbitration. Excuse me. So when is the expansion draft's on the 3rd? Free agency's on the 1st. So we're not gonna obviously sign anybody. Any free agents on those first 2 days. We're going to go through the expansion draft first and then see what's available. But all right, so Michael King wants 2.1, and this is something I like to do. I always, even if they want a reasonable number, I always go in and offer something a little bit less, because if people like them, if Michael King, for example, he's got fair popularity. But if he was extremely popular, you get a bump for signing him to an extension, even though all you're doing is signing him to a 1-year contract and not taking him to arbitration. So you can get a lot of minor bumps that way by doing something that you would do anyway, which is just re-sign your players. So we'll go in and we'll sign a bunch of these guys. Do we want to re-sign? We aren't going to re-sign Senzatella. We're going to non-tender him, so that frees up another 4. Stevenson wants $1 million. No, we'll go ahead and non-tender him. Wendelken wants 1.2, so we'll give him that. Oops, I guess he doesn't want that. And we're only saving, in the scheme of things, nickels and dimes here, but again, you can potentially get those bumps, so makes sense to do it. We're going to have to look at McNeil and Rogers, and I may look to move. Like I said, I may look to move Rogers. McNeil actually wants less than what was anticipated, so that's good. Do we want to bring back Astudillo? There you go. I always pull the Arb offer because I know how much to offer them to get them to accept. So every single one of them that I'm offering, they're going to accept based on what I'm offering. I know they will. So I don't have an issue offering. No, he's not interested in discussing. Okay. It also helps me remember who I've offered it to and who I haven't. So yeah, I wrote Diaz wants 1.5. I'll pass. Excuse me. Brendan Rodgers wants 3.4. Yeah, I know what the numbers are. So like I know that he'll accept that. So I can go ahead and withdraw the Arb offer because I know that he'll accept it. So okay. Jeff McNeil wants 8 years at a total of $134 million. I am not comfortable with that. I am fine sticking with Jeff McNeil for 1 year and seeing what happens this next season. So he wanted 8, so we can offer him, I think, that, and he'll accept it. Nope. That? Yep. Okay. So we offer that. We aren't going to offer contracts to any of these players. We can just let them go. Any minor league players we want to offer deals to? I don't believe so. Going to have to sign a bunch of 2 and 1.5 and 2-star players once we get to spring training to fill out the minor league rosters. But for now, I'm not gonna worry about it. Dolis doesn't want to talk to us, so I'll leave him at 2-2. And I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can offer him a contract. He's got some flexibility, and I like the flexibility, so we'll offer him that. And now we just sim ahead a bit. Yeah, Breeze, I'm, especially after last season, I live in Chicago, but I'm a born and raised New Englander, and I've got a lot of White Sox friends, and they're having a rough go of it this year with, Tony La Russa just being completely overmatched, and the injuries they suffered to Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez in spring training. And one of my friends said, well, what do I do for the next 4 months? And I said, you do what I did last year. You latch on to somebody. Last year for me, I latched on to Alex Verdugo, and just made it a point to cheer for Alex Verdugo, and it gives you something to watch. But yeah, last year was pretty awful. So to see them play better this year is nice for sure. So everybody signed. We got a fan reaction bump for Jeff McNeil, which is nice. Yeah, random task. He is underrated, especially in this. Those offensive ratings are just phenomenal, but not at $18 million a year. So we'll see how he does this year, and maybe we move him at the trade deadline, or, worst case scenario, maybe we offer him Arb depending on, or offer him the qualifying offer. That's $19 million, so I don't even know if we'd do that. But for now, we'll sign him to 1 year at 7.6 and call it a day. But yes, I am very, very happy about the way the. Breeze, you can ask anything you want, man. This is literally my first stream. Other than, don't be a dick, I don't really have any rules at all. So ask me anything you want. All right, so Gold Glove winners in the American League: Chris Bassett, Austin Hedges with the Indians, Nate Lowe, Nicky Lopez, Matt Chapman, no surprise there, Nick Allen, Taylor Trammell, Byron Buxton, Joe Adell, and in the National League, Zach Gallen, Christian Vasquez, Freddie Freeman, Adam Frazier with Pittsburgh, Arenado now with the Nationals, Francisco Lindor, Brennan Davis, Harrison Bader, and Jason Hayward. So no Rockies on that list.
I don't even know what Battle Frogs is. I'm assuming it's some sort of meme game. I used to play Worms. Is it anything like Worms? I remember playing Worms back in the day, where you'd blow each other up with like rockets and stuff. AL reliever of the year, Aroldis Chapman, Jordan Sheffield, Fernando Romero finished third. In the National League, we didn't have Radiel Martinez on there. Austin Adams, 2-2 with a 1.20 ERA. He had a good season. Do you think Albert Pujols will be signed by after getting waived by the Angels? I think the Rays are possible. I don't think he brings enough to the table to justify it at this point. I mean, I guess you could bring him in for the leadership and the he's been there kind of thing before, but it's the same thing as what's going on to Detroit with Miggy. He can't hit the ball anymore. Can't. I mean, there's a reason they weren't even starting him against lefties. It's definitely not the end that I would want to see from someone like Pujols. You want him to be able to go out on his own terms. It's one of the things I loved about David Ortiz was, he probably could have played another couple seasons. Who knows how many home runs he would have ended up with? Who knows what his ratings would have ended up as? He may have gone out like Cabrera or Pujols, though, and that would have just been awful to see. So, will he sign with somebody? If he might, but, is he really going to make that much of an impact? I mean, St. Louis seems like an obvious landing spot, especially if come July, the Cardinals are out of it. Because you don't, I understand the desire to, I'm all about, living in the past and nostalgia and everything else. But, if you're the St. Louis Cardinals and you're trying to win, I don't know that Albert Pujols helps you do that, especially in the National League. Where's he going to play? I mean, are you going to have a pinch hitter on your bench who can sort of hit lefties? I mean, how does that help you? So I don't know. Platinum Stick, I haven't changed this, but the Silver Slugger Awards, Gary Sanchez, Vlad Jr., Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Xander Bogaerts, Austin Hayes, Mike Trout, Franmil Reyes, and Andrew Vaughn. And in the National League, Degrom, Real Muto, Goldschmidt, Albies, Machado, Tatis, Soto, Bellinger, and Ronald Acuna. I thought this might be the one place we get somebody, but no love for Joey Gallo. Nobody can embarrass Poppy except A-Rod sneaking a Yankee jersey on him. Yeah, that's okay. And David Ortiz is, he's, I'm 45 years old, and I fawned over David Ortiz like I was 12. There was something about him, how happy he always was, and how he was just a good guy as well as a good, obviously a great baseball player. So yeah, and obviously clutch. I mean, one of the most clutch hitters of the last 30 years without question. So AL Rookie of the Year, Josh Lowe, Yolqui Cespedes, and Taron Vavra. And in the National League, Helio Ramos, Francisco Morales, and Travis Swaggerty. Manager of the Year, Terry Francona, and Brian Snitker for Atlanta. AL Cy Young winner was Shane Bieber, 19-1 with a 2.70 ERA. Giolito and McCullers finished 2-3. Out in the National League, Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty, Clayton Kershaw. Buehler was 14-5 with a 2.81. And your MVP, Jose Ramirez, wins the American League Most Valuable Player. 325, 37 home runs, 129 knocked in. Mike Trout finishes second. Another 40-100 season out of the kid. Xander Bogaerts finishes third for the Red Sox. Fernando Tatis Jr. wins the National League MVP. Acuna and Soto finish 2-3. Albies, Betts. Look at that. I mean, that top five, man. That's just crazy, crazy good. All right. So let's move ahead to salary arbitration. It's ugly when those guys fall from grace. Yeah, I mean the one that stands out to most people that are my age or a little bit older is Willie Mays, right? I mean Willie Mays, that time with the Mets was was just a mess. So, yeah, you don't want to, you want these guys to be able to go out on their own terms, but sometimes they don't understand when enough's enough, and they need to, they need to call it quits. So, Rafael Dolis won his arbitration. Oh no, we won the arbitration. He wanted 2.4. We got him for 2.2. All right, so international free agents. Anybody good here that we can throw a ton of money at? No. Look at that name. Ilyas Borjanon. That's a name. He's not bad, but he's 28. All right, so free agents. Degrom is a free agent, but he's 34. Excuse me. Baez, Cruz, Brantley. It's just all old. Oh, Bogarts is available. He must have opted out of his contract. Guys. He wants $41 million. Yeah, I don't know if I can pay him. What did the keyboard? I don't know. What did the keyboard say to the other keyboard? I'm all for a good dad joke, by the way. My favorite joke of all time is what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick. The keyboard said, "You're my type." Lovely. And then my follow-up joke to that is, what's brown and sticky? A stick. Those are my two favorite dad jokes. My kids love them. It is what it is. But all right, so Xander Bogaerts. I mean, we'll take a look and see what else is there. But if we can talk him down from that, I'd be happy paying Xander 30. I'd be okay with that. I'll have to keep an eye on that. I mean, he's really good defensively. He's got a good bat. So anyway, we have to. What do we have to do? We have to submit our protection list. So 25 players. All right. What's brown and rhymes with Snoop? I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and think about it, but that wouldn't be very riveting. That wouldn't be very riveting live video play. So I don't know. Oh, that's a good one. That's good. All right, so we have to all players. So 2, 3, 4. I don't think there's going to be a lot of question about what we're going to do here. We're just going to basically anybody who's 2.5 stars or more, I guess, is just going to get. Can we go down that far? We got a lot of 2.5 star players on our team. How many is that? It's 25. All right. But we didn't sign Peacock. So do we want to bring Peacock back in place of somebody else? I think Fairchild is probably. Yeah, I think Fairchild's probably. We got a ton of that style of outfielder, so we can do that. Bring Peacock in. Yeah, random task. I like that. That was a good one. Thank you. Is there anybody here that we're going to lose that I would hate to give up on? Not really. I mean, Duplantier. But is there anybody really better that... Let's see if we can... Excuse me. Wow, that was unexpected. Let's see if we can... Let's see what sorts of offers we can get for Santos. These are all players I would also have to protect, which doesn't really help me. Richard Urena? Would we have to protect Urena? Because it's what? It's 3 years of big league experience, or 3 years of pro service, which Urena has more than. I mean, we're gonna lose somebody. I mean, I guess I'm okay with losing some of these two. I mean, again, we picked Duplantier off of waivers, and I mean, I'm not overly fussed about it. If Santos is just not very good. I think we're going to unprotect Santos and protect Duplantier. Anybody else that I want to? Joaquin Cabrera, no. Anti-jokes, I don't know what an anti-joke is. All right, so this is what we're going to protect. So we'll just submit this. And let's get to the expansion draft, and we'll let that happen, and then we will see what's left. So the Maulers and the Argonauts. Let's start the draft, and we will complete the draft. Let's just take a look at the first couple rounds. Jaron Kendall, Bradley Zimmer, Miguel Andujar almost always gets selected in these things. Yu Chang, Logan Allen, Greg Deichmann, Frankie Montas, Ryan Helsley, Tyler O'Neill, Matt Koch, Patrick Murphy. We lost Murphy, and Austin Pruitt. Okay, so at least I don't think we lost anybody of substance. I mean, losing Murphy kind of stinks, but whatever. All right, so it's now time for the important part. We're an hour and a half into this, and we're just now getting to free agency. So, how much money do I have? I got a ton. I got $70 million. What's red and blue and smells like blue paint? What is red and smells like blue paint? I would say red paint. Yeah, Schwarber was well, actually, let's look at the rosters real quick for those two teams. Jacksonville Maulers. We got a couple of decent bats, at least some power. Ison Diaz, Miguel Andujar, Tyler O'Neill. Got the number 49 prospect, and Jaron Kendall was left exposed. So, red paint, I am correct. All right. Not a lot of pitching, but yeah, they got some decent bats, I guess. And then the other one was Oklahoma City. Their offense: Bradley Zimmer, Carlos Toki, Yu Chang, Deichmann, Rondon. No real prospects. Looks like Jacksonville went prospects. Oklahoma City didn't. So they got Nick Anderson, 42 saves and a 107 ERA. That's a trade chip for them. He had a great year. They had Anderson and Hicks. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch there at the back end of their bullpen that they'll never be able to use. See, I got $70 million to spend, Chris. So, I plenty of money to throw around. So let's look at batters first. And I guess let's take a look at what we need or what we want. Who are we? We're the Rockies. So the only positions I'm, I guess, content with right now are right field, center field, first base. Only because I need Naylor to produce, so I have to give him that opportunity. Jeff McNeil will probably stay at second, or he'll move to third if we don't move on from Rogers. Catching I'm okay with. Maybe a backup. No, we got plenty of catching. We're good there. Shortstop and then left field, I think, are two positions we could stand to improve on. We definitely need some more power. Obviously, that goes without saying. We finished 14th in home runs last year. And then pitching, we just need whatever we can get. So we got Michael King back in there. King and Schmidt are the only two guaranteed starters. So we need a bunch of starting pitching. Lighter. I'm going to move all these guys up now so that I don't forget. So yeah, we need a lot. Jordan Hicks, his name was starred out there for some reason. But yeah, John Means just threw a no-hitter 2 days ago or something, 3 days ago, something like that. So what do we want to do for pitching? So the first thing I want to make sure I do is not give up a comp pick. And I'm not overly concerned about giving up a third-round pick for somebody, but I don't want to give up anything more than that. So I think, maybe we look at someone like Mike Clevenger. He's a fly ball pitcher, which I'm not thrilled about. But he's got 4 good pitches. He's not asking for a ton of money and was actually quite good in San Diego last year. Chris Bassett only wants 4.2. He's a fly ball pitcher. Doesn't have great stuff. That's a bad combination. That shortstop defensive rating for Bogarts, yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but we need the offense. And although one of the things I've talked about in this series, if you guys have watched it since the beginning, was how I need to make sure that I am signing good defensive players, good defensive infielders and that sort of thing. And my first real shot at free agency, and I look at a defenseman or I look at a shortstop who is below average. So yeah, there's not a lot here. This is really, really discouraging, disappointing, and I don't know what the right adjective is for it, but Carlos Rodon. And then we get into the injured Salazar and Sanchez. Sanchez is fragile, but he's a ground ball pitcher. Only wants 1.4. So I think Clevenger is going to be our first target. And he only wants 3 years, which I can get behind. But that third year, can we make that third year a team option? Yeah, I mean, I suspect I'll get outbid, but 3 years at $30 million for Mike Clevenger, which really is only a 2-year deal, I think is acceptable. I think that's manageable. I'm not going to spend a ton of money on a reliever. Extreme fly ball. Let's go over to batters. I really want Xander. This is the Red Sox fan in me coming out here, but TD Gregorius wants. Wait, Brandon Crawford. He wants $25 million. Are you kidding me? Wait, what was I just looking at? No, it's TD Gregorius. Okay, TD Gregorius wants $25 million. We could get Miguel Sano and bat Sano and Gallo back to back and strike out 1,000 times. And this free agency class is really underwhelming, which sucks because, you don't spend the money, you lose it eventually. Tristan Lutz. He was one of the international guys. Jose Pujols. Let's look at trade blocks. Let's look at the trade block. Let's see if there's anybody of interest here. Ian Happ. Making $11 million through next season. Didn't hit very well last year. Yeah, even this is terrible. This is just awful. Aaron Nola. What would it take to pry Aaron Nola from Philadelphia? We'll start with Brendan Rodgers. I have no player who can make that work. Okay. This is going to be one of those deals. No chance. I'm just curious. Oh, okay. So all of a sudden, that deal works. Sort of. So Brendan Rodgers and Aramis Adaman for Aaron Nola. I don't think they're going to accept it just based on the make this work thing, but yeah, Doctor. Yeah, I mean, I already have one of those in Joey Gallo. It would be fun to pair Sano and Gallo, but I don't know if that's necessarily a recipe for success. That probably wouldn't be phenomenal. Yeah, so, okay. Well, we'll hold off. We know Aaron Nola's on the block. Hopefully he doesn't get moved before that. I want to I want to see what we can get for Rogers. If we can get somebody who's, 80% as good as Nola without having to give up anybody other than Rogers, maybe. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of average style players. I like Cleonel Perez. He's pitched really well in my my Rockies or my Tigers playthrough. Man, my Tigers playthrough. He's been really, really good out of the bullpen for me, but not enough to give up Brendan Rodgers. Lang, he's in the bullpen. Not a whole lot here that's intriguing me, which is a shame because I don't necessarily want to hold on to Rodgers. Yeah, there's not much here. All right. So we got a couple of shortstop options. We got Bogarts, Baez, Gregorius, who we're not going to bring in at $25 million. I mean, this really would be fun, but he's fragile. Yeah, his defense isn't good enough to justify it. Justin Turner can only play third. What does he actually want? Yeah, I can't give him that. I mean, we can afford it, but I can't give him that. You'd hold on to Rodgers, to be honest. Yeah, that's a good point. Might try to trade lighter. His ratings look a little weak. Let's take a look. Number 28 prospect in baseball. His control still needs some work. Let's see. I would hate to move on from my top pick already, but, if we can get something that works. Yeah, we're going to get flawed players just like he's flawed, I think. Yeah, he's almost an identical player. Skubal looks like what Leiter could be when he develops or if he develops, but he was really bad and he's out for 6 months. Jared, it's funny you say that because I actually had Crawford at the beginning of last season. We made that exact play last season. We signed Crawford. It was like a 3-year contract with a couple of team options. And we ended up moving him at the trade deadline. So it's funny that you say that. Simeon was a good short. Yeah, Marcus Simeon may not be a bad option. We can take a look at him for sure. And yeah, Skubal does have bad movement. That's an issue, especially in cores, unless you're blowing people away. A couple of prospects from the Phillies, but again, they're not any better than Leiter is or will be. I've always liked Austin Shenton. He always played well for me in Out of the Park 20 and 21. I always liked picking him up. I don't know why. He was just one of those players that I sort of gravitated. Would you try to trade Leiter for Nola? All right, I can try that. Let's see if that works. Where am I going here? It's an insult. I mean, he liked Adamon. Prove you're serious by making a better offer. Oof. Yeah, that's rough. That's not working. I would have to give up. I mean, these three, Romo, Veen, and Jones, are obviously untouchable. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's go back. I want to look at Marcus Simeon. Because I think of Simeon more as a second baseman, but I guess he could probably play shortstop, right? Yeah, he can play shortstop. Doesn't want a ton of money. Good defensively. I mean, that rating's not great. His position rating isn't great, but his defensive ratings are good enough that he could get away with playing shortstop probably. Hasn't really hit since, what, 2019? Yeah. His 2019 season with the A's was fantastic, but hasn't really hit since then. But as a short-term solution, that might not be a bad move. They think they will get fleeced. So they're trying to make you fleece yourself. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm. Oh, my phone case just broke. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm trying to be patient here. You know, with this, I don't want to. You know, if the right deal comes up, I'll pull the trigger, but I don't want to make the move just to make the move. I like Javi. His contact is even lower than it used to be. I think Marcus Simeon's not a bad option at shortstop, except he wants 6 years. Come on, guys. Will he take the old 8-year or 3 years with 2-team options? Yeah, he won't. He wants at least 4 years. All right. So let's just go to Hall of Fame voting. Try trading. Degrom's a free agent. He is a free agent. He wants $29.3 million a year. He's compensation eligible, so we'd have to give up a third-round pick. But we could, excuse me, we could technically sign him. He wants 6 years at $176 million. What is his, where is he in terms of his normal injury proneness? He's 34. I don't want to give a 34-year-old 6 years, though. Can we do this? I'd even go 4 and make the last 2-team options. What do you think? 4 years, $120 million? You think that's a fair deal? Would have to give up a third-round pick, assuming he signs, but that would give us Clevenger and Degrom at the top of our rotation if we can sign them both. $10 million is the free agent starter average per WAR, and he was at, what was he at last year? 4.2. So yeah, I mean that's $40 million. I mean, you got that right, but I'm not paying him $40 million. So if I can get him for $4.30, you think? Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. Nope, he doesn't. Well, he's okay with the 4 years. He just doesn't want the options. I'd give him a vesting option. Let's try that. Oops, not 3. Let's try that. We've got the money. We've got the money to spend. A little bit of an overpay is not going to kill us. And if we have to cheese this 4th year, we can cheese this 4th year and not give him his vesting options. Let's see. All right, so 4 years, $120 million for Jacob Degrom. So we have our pitching targets locked in Clevenger and Degrom. Let's do the Hall of Fame voting, and then we'll readdress the bats again. Degrom usually falls off for you around age 38. Well, that would be perfect. So, yeah, the popularity too. I mean, we're not in terrible shape from a popularity standpoint. We got good loyalty and fan interest is 83. I think we should let's bump our ticket prices a little bit, see if we can generate a little more money. Hall of Fame voting. So who do we got? Bobby Abreu, Beltran, yes. Todd Helton, yes. I'm a sucker for defensive center fielders, so I'm going to vote for both Hunter and Jones, even though none of the metrics say they should make it. Jeff Kent, yes. Manny, again, the Red Sox fan in me coming out. Crazy up boost in demands, especially when you offer a decent contract in the first place. Yeah, like I mean, I guess like you could look at someone like Xander Bogaerts. He wanted $40 million. Like no one's gonna pay Xander Bogaerts $40 million to play shortstop for them. But if I came back and said, hey, I'll give you 6 years at 30, he would laugh in my face. So you know that those initial contract demands are pretty out of control. Scott Rowland is a Hall of Famer in my opinion. How many do I have left? 3. Go with Vizquel. Billy Wagner belongs in the Hall of Fame. And who? Tim Hudson. Very underrated. So there's my ballot. Beltran, Helton, Hudson, Hunter, Jones, Kent, Ramirez, Rowland, Vizquel, and Billy Wagner. Yeah, random task. I agree completely. Andrew Jones is one of the best defensive center fielders to ever play the game, and I don't think that because his offensive stats weren't, you know, where some of these other players were, that should keep him out. That should keep him out. You know, a great defensive player belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's why Vizquel belongs in the Hall of Fame. Mark Burley could be in the Hall too. Yeah, right, for sure. All right, well, let's sim ahead a week and see what we get with our current offers. And guys, I'm probably going to go for about another hour. So hopefully I can get through this within the next hour. If not, I will pause, and my next video will probably just be the end of the regular season. So I honestly didn't think I'd go for 3 hours. This has been fun. I've enjoyed it. Time is kind of flying by here as we're reaching the end of hour 2. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me tonight for my very first live stream. Okay, so Marcus Simeon is willing to revisit talks, which means he's now willing to take that that contract, 3 years with 2-team options. So let's do it. Let's offer him that deal. Cool. So let's sim ahead to the winter meetings. Yeah, for those of you who are just checking in, Jones. Yeah, I'm bouncing all over the place. Jones was a great hitter. Yeah, I mean he was a power hitting, great defensive center fielder. I mean he didn't hit for a high average, wasn't, you know, but he has, I think, more Gold Gloves than any center fielder ever. He gets penalized because he fell apart with the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean it's that high peak, you know, that high peak type of player. Doctor, you're right. When people chatting, it makes the time fly. Awesome. So we signed Jacob Degrom, 4 years, $30 million a season. That 4th season is a vesting option at 160 innings. So Jacob Degrom, come on down. You are the newest ace of the Colorado Rockies. So very, very cool. So now our rotation looks something like this. It still isn't great, but if we can plug Clevenger in there, all of a sudden our 1 through 4 doesn't look bad. Excellent. If we can pick up Simeon, that fixes our shortstop problem. And then if we can't sign a left fielder, I can run, you know, with what we have in left field. I mean, between Fletcher and Rivas, I can teach one of them to play left field, or I can stick McNeil out in left. So, I mean, I think we'll be okay. But it would be nice to land a solid defensive shortstop. Not that Peraza. I mean, Peraza's okay, but he's still young. I don't think that. He hit okay last year, but I'd rather have someone like Simeon in there. So hopefully yeah. Well, it's what's funny when you think about it, right? I mean, Hampton's contract, it was like $18 million a year or something like that for 7 years, or $12 million a year for 7 years. I mean, going back to, you know, when he signed it, it was huge, but, you know, looking back on it now, it's peanuts, right? All right, so end of the team, end of the winter meetings. Anything interesting happened? So Simeon and Clevenger both favor our offers. Michael Brantley signs with the Mets. Yeah, look at this, man. Miguel Rojas, 33-year-old 3-star shortstop who OPS just over 700, signed a 5-year, $105 million contract. That is nuts. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, he was a better hitter than he was a pitcher. Christian Vasquez signs with the Astros. Javi Baez with the Reds. Red Sox sign Max Muncy. Of course, the Dodgers sign Bogarts. Because of course they do. And he got his $40 million, guys. Look at that. He got his $40 million. 6 years, $233 million contract from the Dodgers. Of course the Dodgers signed him. Corey Kluber goes to the Giants. All right, let's get up to the Rule 5. See if we can snag some talent in the Rule 5. And this should tell us where we are. Oh, there's the deal. Aaron Nola was traded to the Texas Rangers for Maximo Acosta, Destin Dotson, Jonathan Ornelas, and Pete Crow Armstrong. So they got 4 3-star prospects for Aaron Nola. I would have done that, but they wouldn't have let me do that. Okay, well, let's look at this. Let's look at this trade. They got 2 top 100 prospects and then 2 prospects that are in the top 250. So, that's a pretty good haul, I think, for Philadelphia for unless they re-sign him to an extension, 1 year of Aaron Nola. I think that's a pretty good get for Philadelphia. Did they turn around and trade Dotson? Yeah, they turned around and traded him the next day for Aaron Hicks. Okay. All right, Philadelphia, I don't know what you're doing. Do I have any shortstop prospects in the system? Not really. I would say the closest thing we have would be Peraza and Adamon. They can both sort of play it, but nothing really. I take that back. One of our top picks, was it last year? Andrew Patrick was he was a 30th round pick in 2021, so I didn't even make that pick. That was the AI making that pick, and he's developed really nicely. I guess switch over to My Scout rather than the OSA, but he's developed nicely. But he's still pretty far away. So, we're still 3 or 4 years from him making an impact. So, all right, anybody here that we want to put on the 40-man? Don't believe so, but we'll keep looking. Hopefully this is one of those good Rule 5 drafts where you can take like 3 players. I love those. You can just raid the farm systems of teams for like top 100 prospects and then either flip them or keep them for yourself. All right, so there's nobody else I want to put on the 40-man, so let's just get to the Rule 5. All right, so we're going to be picking 4th in the draft coming up next year, so that's not bad. Let's start the draft, and let's go to us. All right. Batting potential. Anybody here? Doesn't really look like it, at least not yet. Not from an offensive perspective. Jose Devers is always on this list. Seems like they never want to keep him around. Deshaun Knowles is another one who shows up in the Rule 5 all the time. Yeah, there's not really anybody here that... I'm looking for, shortstops who can play shortstop, or I'm looking for, outfielders who have that power and eye combination. And there are a couple, but I have no interest in this 26-year-old. He's not terrible, but he's basically the same player as what we already have on the roster in Peraza and Adamon. Let's look at pitching. Hard pressed to find a good pitcher on the 40-man, but we might get lucky. The Cubs have a AAA pitcher who's not very good. Yeah, there's just not much here. Brett Conine. Well, Brett Conine's not terrible. 26, a ground ball pitcher. We could do worse than Brett Conine, right? What do you think? Brett Conine? Jay Groom, Red Sox farmhand. Thinking Brett Conine. What do you guys think? Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Like Anthony Garcia from the Yankees. I mean, the power is, Ruthian, as they say, but that contact is really bad. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a chance on Brett Conine, starting pitcher. Only 26, ground ball pitcher. Yes, on Conine, just signed the best name. Yeah, it's Jeff Conine's kid. I think he's got 2 kids that play right now. I think there's one in the Phillies system, maybe. I guess there's an easy way to look. Yeah, Griffin and Brett. He's in the Marlins organization. Okay. All right, so there's the Rule 5. Let's go back and let's just take a peek at the trade. Oh man. Okay. Things have changed, guys. Do we stop what we were doing and try to make a run at a Tyler Glasnow or a Shohei Ohtani, and that fixes both our pitching and our left field? Yeah, and Jack Flaherty. I saw Flaherty, but I mean, what's it going to take for me to get Jack Flaherty from St. Louis? I mean, if I throw in my top prospects and they just laugh at me. So Jack Flaherty's a pipe dream. My guess is so is Glasnow, but yeah. See, Chris, we were talking at the beginning of the stream about the kind of pitchers I like, and this is exactly it. That ground ball pitcher who can throw 95 to 100. This for me. Like, I can overlook his movement and his control because he has 2 elite pitches. He's got wipeout stuff, and he's a ground ball pitcher who can throw 100 miles an hour. Like, I can overlook the other stuff because of this. Can we pick up a Tyler Glasnow? Gallo or McNeil for Glasnow? That tells me that it's workable. Maybe it's workable. I don't want OSA ratings. Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, Glasnow only has 1 year left, but we've got money. We've got, how much do we have left? I mean, this year we think we still have 20 million. So we got 22 million this year. We got 35 next. So it's not like we couldn't re-sign him if we wanted him. Let's go back here. Let's look at batters real quick. Harrison Bader. Talked about wanting an elite defensive outfielder. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Bader. And then we can move Hannah over to left. Try just McNeil. All right, let's try just McNeil. His offer might be enough, but he needs more time to think about it. And that did it, man. That did it. Random task. Random task is going to be my assistant GM. Let's submit the offer and see what happens. Oops, I guess I haven't finished the Rule 5. And if I could get McNeil for Glasnow, I mean, that seems like highway robbery. So let's see what they come back with. And I'd be willing to give up. Yeah, we're close. Okay, so I'd be willing to give up Frias. He was the one we picked up in the trade from Philadelphia or Arizona in July of this past season. I would be more than willing to do that. So let's discuss trade again. Prospects. Why does it keep going over to OSA? And where is Frias? Right there. Let's submit that offer. Submit ahead a week. I mean, if we now have, if the Rays accept that offer, I'd be okay with that. It still says almost. Okay. All right, well, we're getting there. So we're down to these 1-star prospects. That's fine. Manuel Olivares. That's fine. I can give you Manuel Olivares. I mean, if we turn our pitching staff into Degrom, Glasnow, Clevenger as our top 3, I mean, I think that puts us in a pretty good position next year, right? Olivares. It was this guy. Or are they just going to keep teasing me here? I submitted it. Submit. Oh, come on. You guys are killing me here. All right. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it and call it a day. There. I can even remove Frias from the deal. Perfect. All right. So Jeff McNeil, fan increase decreases a lot. Tyler Glasnow increases slightly. So we are dropped to 87 from 88. But our pitching rotation is looking pretty damn good right now. So we got Glasnow, Degrom, we got Clevenger hopefully on the way, Schmidt and King. Yeah, slow drip. That was they were killing me there. They kept changing their mind. So, all right, well that works for me. We now need to do something about the offense because we just lost one of our few big bats. But I think we still have money to play with, and let's go back to the trade block. Any bats here that really stand out? Oops, I didn't want to go to the help screen. I wanted to go there. All right. Bader can't hit, but he is one of the best center fielders in baseball. Or do we just, I mean, do we really just, I guess, embrace this whole, yeah, random task, that's a great point. It's a great point. I am spending a decent amount of money, but you're right. So let's immediately bump this up another $4 million. Let's bump this up to 19. And I think the other ones are pretty well set. Yeah, draft budget is fine. International amateurs is set where it needs to be. Excuse me. So do we really just do, I mean, what do you think? Should I embrace this whole contact and good eye and then try to let Gallo drive everybody in? Or, you know, do we try to find another power bat? Because there doesn't appear to be a lot here power-wise. We got Ohtani, who can still hit, you know, and we could use him in the bullpen, but he can't really field. His right field rating is down to a 20. Or do we go after someone like, I don't know, look at Yandy Diaz. I mean, good contact, good eye, doesn't really want any money at all. You know, or who was the other one I saw? Tony Kemp. Good eye, good discipline, good contact, and just try to crank out base hits and walks and hope that you know, our one or two power hitters in the lineup can drive them all in. We don't really need a first baseman. Brandon Belt's not terrible. Will Myers' contract is finally up. He can hit. What do you think, guys? A little Will Myers action here? You're a big gap fan. Candelario's got that super high gap power. I'm liking what I see out of Will Myers here. He's going to strike out a ton, but good contact, good gap power, good home run power. Can play first base, can play left, can play right. What do you think? Will Myers? Like Candelario. Where was he? Did he get signed? Oh, he was on the trade block, right? Yeah. First and third. 677 OPS last year. Will Myers' name bothers you? Why? Maybe we go after both. Maybe we go after Candelario and Myers. They want lighter. Naylor's down to 3 stars. Guys, look at... Oh, wait. It switched back to OSA. So they want lighter, Naylor, or Romo for Candelario. I'm not prepared to do that. But what I am prepared to do is move on from Colton Welker. What's not to like? Okay, we'll submit that offer. See if we can pick up a Yeimer Candelario. It's 1 L and 1 E. So you think his last name is spelled wrong too? I always thought that's how you spelled Myers. Anyway, so we made the offer for Candelario. I'm going to make an offer for Will Myers. I think it's a pretty solid bat. He only wants 1 year. Let's offer him 4 just to save a little bit of money. And let's sim ahead. I see. Okay. I see how you're saying his name should be spelled. Got it. All right, so almost. So they want one of our top prospects. I'm not going to give you one of my top prospects. So what else can we do to make this work? Who do I want? Who am I willing to give you? Luke Lito. I like Luke Lito. What about Devin Mann? You want a first baseman? Let's just keep trying. Let's just see what they say. Maybe that moves the needle some. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, right. His contract now is terrible. He's making 20, 25 million, something like that. But he's worked through it in this game. So, all right. So that does move the needle. So that works. So maybe we can just stick an Alejandro Mejia in there and close this down. Let's find him. Sure. I would take that deal. Let's keep going. And what's funny is in my Tigers playthrough, I got rid of Candelario and picked up Colton Welker. So it's a little reverse action here. Cool. So that works. So Welker, Mann, and Alejandro Mejia to the Tigers, getting Yeimer Candelario. We will complete that deal. And we have ourselves a third baseman who can actually, well, like he's not great at third base, but he's passable, I guess. Good arm, decent error. So anyway. All right, let's keep going. So we got 2 players still left out there waiting to be signed. Simeon and Will Myers. Let's see if we can get through this in the next 45 minutes. I think we probably can, because if we are able to sign those 2 deals, I don't know how much more I'm going to do. I'll see if I can sim ahead up to opening day and get the rosters and stuff set, but we will see. All right, so it's January 2nd. Any messages? Any signings of note? We're still waiting on Clevenger. Yeah, he still hasn't signed either. So we still have $58 million in contract offers out this year that we're still waiting on. I forgot about Clevenger. All right, there we go. We signed Mike Clevenger to a 3-year contract worth $30 million. I believe it's 2 team options or 1. How did I do that? 1 team option at the end. So our pitching staff, our starting pitching staff is completely revamped this season. I like it. I like it. I like it. So we're going to go Degrom, Glasnow, Clevenger, Schmidt, and King. Let's keep going. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me again. I know we're at about 2 hours and 15 minutes here. It's been a long grind here to get through the rest of the regular season and into our 3rd season, but I'm having a lot of fun. I got to pee, but I'm having a lot of fun. So I can hold on until I'm done here. So appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and giving me somebody to talk to, so I don't feel like I'm sitting here and talking to myself. So the Rangers have signed Aaron Nola to a 4-year contract worth $90 million. So they did trade those 4 prospects for him and then signed him to a 4-year deal. Player opt-out after 2 years. It seems like a good deal for Nola. It's been fun. Yeah, I don't know, it feels different when I've got people here, watching it with me, versus me just sitting in my house and talking to myself. So players appreciate the new leadership of Marcus Simeon. That's huge. So we signed Simeon to that 3-year contract, $24 million, with 2 buyouts, but we get Simeon to play short and potentially some second for us. We'll keep going. And what would you guys think? You want to see some more live streams? I don't know that I can commit to 3 hours every time, but you guys enjoying this too? You want to see me do some more live stuff? Hall of Fame voting. It don't look like anybody made it. Carlos Beltran came up short. Yeah, nobody made it. Jeff Kent got dropped. Lackey, Weaver, Street, and Ellsbury all got dropped. Will Myers likes our contract offer. Musgrove signed a $20 million contract with the A's. Let's get up to preseason. Most definitely. Well, you have to say that. No, I appreciate it. I have no problem talking. It's what I do for a living, even when I'm not playing video games. So talking for a couple hours at a time is fine. I broadcast. I do play-by-play for minor league baseball and some high school and some colleges here in the Chicagoland area. So I have no problem talking for 3 hours straight. Usually without a color guy. So. Cool. We signed Will Myers as well. So our roster is pretty well set. The Dodgers signed another pitcher, Mike Minor. So our roster is pretty well set going into the preseason. So what we'll do now is I'll just, we'll sim ahead here through or up to opening day. We'll set our rosters and that'll be that. So financial update, we have $178 million. I don't think we have much money left. Yeah, we got $6 million left this year, $19 million left next year, but revenue is up, fan interest is up. If we look at salaries for next season, we have some decisions. We can easily move on from Simeon if he doesn't play well. I would like to bring Glasnow back. He doesn't want a ton of money. We could sign him right now to... Could we sign him to like a 4-year, $12 million deal? Would he take that? No. What about a 5-year deal worth 12? Okay. So a 5-year deal, $12 million with the 5th year being a team option. That locks down Glasnow long term. So that means our top 3 starters, Degrom, Clevenger, or our 5 starters, Degrom, Clevenger, Glasnow, King, and Schmidt are all locked down for the foreseeable future, which means somebody like Jack Leiter could potentially be used as a trade chip. You forgot how much you used to appreciate OOTP. I love it. Like I said earlier, for me, out of the park baseball, should be the release date should be a holiday. I have so much. I've put so many hours into every single one of these games. Awesome. So we signed Glasnow. Fan reaction increases slightly, so that bumps us up to 90 now. We're slowly running out of money, but that's okay. If we play well, that money will come back. So let's keep plugging along here. This is really strange. I got a text message from somebody. It seems like a weird coincidence. I got a text message from somebody asking me to check out their Twitch channel. I've never gotten a text like that before in my life, yet the very first time I stream on Twitch, I get a text message like that. That's bizarre. I don't know how they would have gotten my number, but... I guess anything's possible. So let's keep going here, guys. We're February 4th. It's almost time. We got about a month of just simming here, of just sim time before we get to spring training. So, guys, how would you rate our off season on a scale of 1 to 10? What are you giving me? 1 being the worst, 10 being I've had the absolute best off season that anybody could ever have. Where do you plug us? Where do you plug my 2022-2023 off season into that equation? Going to be on the MLB network and off this indie hour. What do you mean? All right, so it's spring training. And when we get to spring training, I like to go to a 6-man rotation and just let the AI control everything. It puts, except for that, I don't want Schmidt out of the starting rotation. So we're going to go with that 6-man. And then I do the same thing with the lineups. I just let the bench coach set everything. And then I make the changes as we go forward. So Simeon, they're not even going to have Simeon start. That's fine. He's going to play every second. It's spring training. I just don't want him to get hurt. So, all right, let's move ahead. Someone texted me asking me to go watch their channel and give them advice on how their stream was. I'm sure it's just spam. It just was a funny coincidence that it happened the very first time I streamed something. So Ataman gets hurt. We'll stick him on the DL. Yeah, like I said, it was just a weird coincidence. The offseason was good. Problem with a lot of Rocky teams is that offense is super weak and their pitching is outstanding, but the pitching looks weak because it's cores. Yeah, I mean, we experienced, I think, what the real Rockies would have to experience to get pitching. I mean, you really have to just, I don't want to say ignore your offense, but you really have to just sort of nickel and dime your offense and try to put the money into the pitching staff, to try to improve things. With the pitching staff that we have this year, I feel like we are a potential. I'm not sure you did enough to improve the offense, but the pitching is probably one of the best. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's really fair. I'm banking on Naylor, sort of breaking out this season, as well as Rogers bouncing back from his season last year. I'm hoping Will Myers is able to provide 30 or 35 home runs. If I can just get another bat in my lineup that hits 25 to 35 home runs, that puts us in a much better position. If I now have Gallo and Myers who are 30 to 40 home run threats, man, that's a lot of injuries. Enough. I think we can provide enough offense. We'll see though. Yeah, there really weren't. There really weren't, with the exception of Bogarts. But, we talked, I'm not going to spend $40 million on Xander Bogarts. So yeah, we've got players signed to short-term deals in the lineup. So hopefully, and we'll take a look here in a minute at who the upcoming free agents are. And maybe next offseason is where because, let's be frank, right? When we get to this offseason, unless the arms fall off of our pitchers, we won't be looking for any starting pitching next year. So we can put 100% of our attention into the offense next season. So hopefully the offensive options next year will be a little more plentiful, but we'll see. What I don't want, what I'm afraid of, is that Joey Gallo regresses and that he slips to $180 with 25 home runs, and then it doesn't matter how good our pitching is. Gallo has to be that 40, 100 guy in order for us to have any shot at all. So we will see. All right, so we are at April 1st. Schmidt got better. King got worse. Glasnow got worse slightly. Degrom, his stamina got better. Will Myers actually got better. Jamison Hanna continues to improve. Cool. All right. So let's sim through these last two games and then send people down. The NL Essentials. Yeah, they had to add Oklahoma City to the ranks. All right, so we win our final preseason game of the year 9-0. All right, so let's take a look and let's set our. So we got 31 players, so we have to send down a couple of pitchers. And we're still without. How long are we without Schmidt for? Injured list. He's out for 5 days. All right, so Degrom, Clevenger, Glasnow. I think I want to go Degrom, Glasnow, Clevenger, King, and Conine until Schmidt comes back. Bullpen, we don't have a very good bullpen. This could be a problem, but it's something that hopefully we can address during the season. Martinez will be our closer. Excuse me. Wendell, we got to send pitchers down. What am I doing? I got to send, 2 pitchers down? Who do I want to send down? Frias isn't ready. And Rolison looks to be pretty ready. Crook, that control's really bad, but yeah, we're going to send Crook down. He was just terrible last year. Thought we could catch lightning in a bottle with him, but we couldn't. So we'll go Martinez as the closer. I'm fine with that. I don't want Claudio I want him as a specialist versus lefties. That's it. That's all I want to use him as. Ian Hamilton. Yeah, I think Wendelken and Hamilton are going to be my setup guys. Rolison's going to be middle relief with Doyle. 26-year-old is getting another shot. Then we have Duplantier and Peacock as our long relievers and Claudio as our specialist. Our bullpen's not very good. Our bullpen is not very good at all. We don't have much money to do anything with it, but hopefully we will as the season moves on. We got to send a couple of hitters down. So we get it down to 26. So Matt Beatty and Maciel will both go down. We have to waive him. It's fine. We can designate him. All right. We got to send 2 more players down. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. 27. We got to send 1 more down. Is it Celestino? I think it's Celestino. All right, so Celestino goes down. All right, now let's set our lineup. All right, so Joey Gallo is going to be our 4-hitter. All right, is there anything else that's obvious? I think Myers goes in the number 3 hole. Naylor will go in the 2 spot. And then Simeon, I think, bats leadoff. What do you think, guys? Simeon batting leadoff? I think that's probably it makes the most sense. Candelario will bat 5th and play 3rd. No, Simeon's our shortstop. Brendan Rodgers. Do I want to bat Rodgers higher than that? Not against righties. I think I'm okay with that against righties because Naylor's just so much better. How's Simeon against righties? Maybe we go Rodgers lead off against righties. Yeah, he's better than Simeon. So we'll bet Simeon 6th, Rodgers 1st. No, what am I doing? Jamison Hanna has got to be my leadoff hitter, right? Hanna's my leadoff hitter. I like to go lefty, righty, lefty, but I don't. Is that something I want to? Do I want to do something like that? What do you think? I'm going to keep messing around with it. You guys let me know what you think as I screw around with this. And then Ali Sanchez will be our catcher. Let's generate the depth chart, see what it wants to do. So it wants Peraza every 3rd game at short, Mckinstry every 6th game there. I want Mckinstry backing up here as well. He'll play once a week. Myers is our backup center fielder. I guess he can play center field. It's not quite what I had in mind, but yeah, I don't like Gallo batting 3rd. I have a problem with that. Maybe I just do this. Maybe I just go lefty-lefty in the 3-4 holes and just call it a day. Because Naylor, his ratings against righties are really, really good. So I think I just stick with that and just go 3-4 lefty-lefty. All right, so let's copy that. Let's paste this in here. We got to add a DH. So Alfonso Rivas will be our DH against righties. And we'll move him up a little bit. That's not what I wanted to do. Move him up a little bit. Set the depth chart. Cool. All right, now against lefties.
All right, we got to make a couple changes, but we really can't. I mean, our entire bench is basically left-handed hitters. Mckinstry, Fletcher, Rivas. We got Peraza, who can hit against lefties, but who would I bat him over? There's really nobody here. So I think against lefties, though, we're going to go Rogers first, Naylor second, Myers third. I think we're going to do something like that against lefties. I like that a whole lot better against lefties. Generate the depth charts. Let's go here. Let's go back here. Copy. Paste. We got to put a DH in. I guess we can... No. I think Fletcher has pretty decent splits. Yeah, he's actually pretty good against lefties. So we'll stick him in there as the DH. All right, so lineups are set. Pitching staff is set. Let's look at kind of everything else. We got about $5 million left to spend, so we can add a bullpen arm if we need to down the road. Money for extensions, we got a little bit left. Loyalty's up. Fan interest is up. We're making some money. Our player development budgets are up. Let's get to opening day. Let's see what OSA thinks. It's thinking. So we went 14 and 16 during spring training. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Okay, come on. I guess this is the problem when you have every league set. It's got to generate season predictions for every single league. We're almost as good as Jacksonville. Hey, come on. We had a good offseason. He wants us to play better than 500 ball. Okay, so top prospects. Drew Jones is 5th. So he has grown nicely. Let's look at the minor league system rankings. We're 3rd. Estrada's 28th. Acevedo's 36th. Romo 37th. Leiter 41st. They will both start in Triple A along with Zach Veen. We gotta. I'm gonna have to go in and I'll do this off camera, but I'm gonna have to go in and sign some minor league depth. I mean, I guess I got a few people here, few players here. We're actually okay, it looks like. So we got Romo, Veen, and Leiter in AAA. Those are our 3 top prospects. Leiter, again, could potentially be used to pick up somebody down the stretch if we need to. But Veen and Romo are our bats of the future. Romo continues to improve. He's already great defensively. And if his ratings come out to this, I think we're going to be in really, really good shape. Veen, he hit in A-ball, he hit in AA ball, he'll hit in AAA this year, and next year he'll be on the big league roster. What else do we want to look at? Preseason predictions. So the Red Sox and the Blue Jays predicted to go. Look at the AL East. 4 teams within 3 games of each other. Indians at 90 and 72. Astros 94 and 68. In the National League, we're expected to go 74 and 88 with our pitching staff. I would almost take that. You know, if we went 74 and 88, that would be another 10-game improvement for us. You know, in the next year, we dump our money into offense and see where that goes. So 74 and 88 is where we are expected to go, with the Dodgers finishing 103 and 59. So, guys, that's going to do it. My next video will be just back to normal recording. I'll probably play the first game like I have the first couple years, and then sim ahead through that month, and then we'll see how it goes. So I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me here for 2.5 hours. Appreciate you engaging me so I didn't have to sit here and talk to myself, which I still would have done, but I'm glad I didn't have to. So, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.